good friends out there. Welcome to Stock Market Mutterings. This is for the week beginning on June 10th, where I will do my best to take a grope in the murkiness and try to make sense out of this market, if that's possible. Help you find some quality trade setups, and hopefully in the end, it puts a little bit of money in your pocket. For all of you out there that need some personal one-on-one attention, I'm going to post a link on this screen. You can trade with us live in our live trade room daily. You can see our trades on screen, and you get the commentary with it and see how we view the market, how we approach it, and that could take your game to the next level. Also, I know there's many of you out there that cannot do something like that because you have other time commitments and you can't commit to a full-time trading room. For that, we've created this room with stock twits. Check that out. I'm going to post that link on the screen. You get the idea, you get the trades that I'm in, plus the education, and it can come through your phone or an app or something like that. A little easier system to use for some of you with time constraints. Now, let me try to do my best here because I don't know what to say, guys. This has to be one of the stankiest, dirtiest, in your face rallies I have seen since like the beginning of the year, when it kind of just, face palmed you at Christmas Eve and took off like a banshee. It did it again. Now, I did say in last week's stock market mutterings that we would see a bounce. I was for sure of it. Now, you go back and watch it. I said we will definitely see a bounce. I thought it was going to be like a 200-day moving average bounce. It was like 277 on the spot. This thing just blew right through it like it was a cannonball going through a wet paper towel. And it didn't stop. You started out the week with this selling, and then late Monday, right before the close, you got this little squirt in the markets. And then from there on, it was just like, forget about it. I never hardly pulled back. It never gave an inch. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just balls out. Just straight. You can see it here on the chart. Hell, the Dow itself here, which is what I do have, this is like 1,300 points. In fact, what started this sell-off was the whole Mexico tariff tweets, which nothing has been accomplished with those. And it retraced all of that, plus tacked on like another 300 points. Just one of the more insane rallies. So now that I've got done talking about how insane this rally is and pointed out the evident, you're probably saying, dude, get on with it. Okay, I'll get on with it. What are we going to do here? You got to think. There's got to be a cool down lap in here. Like this move needs digested. It's just it's not your normal move. I'm all for the bullishness, but it's like, chill. Because now everything that you're looking down the line, we're going to talk about a lot of these stocks. Some of these have made, extraordinary moves. Like I said, this is one of the more vicious rallies that we've seen. Now, where it ended up is it slightly closed. I know there's a lot of clutter on this chart, but this 50 moving average here on the daily, it closed right up there, and you didn't get any rejection Friday until you got up just about close to 516, May 16 highs here on the SPY. That was 289.21. And it just took off all morning. Like, it's just everybody wants to get the buying out of the way on Friday so they can eject for the weekend. And then it kind of settled down here late. So as we progress forward, if you're looking, you kind of have to block out some bias here. If they feel like this is a lot, and it can be because this is a big move, but there still could always be a little bit more. I'd have to think if you start pressing above those 516 highs, which is the 289.20s, that this thing might end up, I hate to say it, guys, I hate to use the word, all-time highs? Does this look, it could actually squeak back up there, because if it stays strong, it's just going to be too close. And historically here, at least recent history, every time the market's gotten a whiff of all-time highs, it doesn't do it. This market it should be called the face palm, because that's what it does. It just sticks it right, it just comes right in your face. Whatever you think isn't going to happen, that's exactly what happens. If it gets a whiff of all-time highs, it's not going to hit all-time highs. It's going to blow through them like it's not even there. So again, this is a big move. I personally would like to see a little bit of back testing, because a lot of these stocks are they're just out of control, really out of control. But if you get a pullback, I would look for first this 10-day moving average of 282. Maybe if you can get down to the 282s, shake down, maybe that tariff news comes out. I know it's a big thing coming up here. Tariffs are supposed to start on Mexico on Monday. Market's obviously thinking it's just a bluff. We're going to find out Monday. We're going to find out. But I would expect we start to get some sort of fade or some sort of back testing, some sort of consolidation before just going right up to the all-time highs, if that's going to be the case. If not, and we start selling off, look for the 10 moving average and the 20 moving average, the 282s back to 280s, then maybe there's something to take a look at. But what one hell of a rally, and you've got to kind of look where value plays may open up starting on Monday. You might have to take the back testing short side, which to each their own. Anyway, let's talk about some stocks. Why don't we do that? I'm going to start out with, like I said, a lot of these things are just nuts. And one of them has to be this shop. Now, I took a couple of shots. I've been long and I've been short. I tried a few pieces of shorts here, and it's like, this thing is on its own. Like, this thing was like $135 or something like that at the start of the year. And it just busts right through $300 on Friday. I mean, if you happen to have bought this at the beginning of the year and you slipped into a coma and you just now woke up today, congrats to you. This is one hell of a trade for you. But for the rest of us, we probably didn't catch a big piece of this move. I still like to entertain the short idea on this, but these things are not for everyone. They're pretty volatile at times. Maybe I shouldn't use the word volatile. I should say rangy. They can move $4 or $5 at a clip. And when they get going, it's, some of the times the thinness of these names make it a little bit difficult. But I'd like to look at possibly entertaining the idea. I mean, when you got a stock that goes from 135 to 300, I get it. They're making money. It's great. But you got to think at some point, it's like, okay, what point that is, I don't know. Maybe I'll try it with options, but I want to look at it. On the flip side of that, even though these things are stretched, you still have to look at this as a potential long if you are blessed, I should say, with a gap down. If the market wants to give you a gap down for some reason, which it just doesn't want to do that right now, you open up with a flush by some odd circumstance. This is probably something that you would want to long. So when you're looking at a stock like this, sometimes you want to go in with the approach that you may short it, and then you end up longing it because the market hands you a different set of cards. Same way, vice versa. I want to look at that one. Also, I'm going to throw out a couple of big namers here that's got some just asinine runs. And I just want to look at them. I'm not saying you should run into these things short right now. That's probably not a good idea, because just because something's up a lot doesn't mean that it's due. But just kind of look for some signs there. Position yourself correctly with risk and take a shot. Because stuff like this is worth a shot, because one down day on something like this could be double digits. TTD is another one. I mean, it just up and runs from 220 to 245 this week. I mean, 220 to 245. If it matches that next week, the thing's going to be pricing $300 like shop. I mean, they're just loading up on this stuff like it's never ever going to come, like you're never going to see 240 in our lifetime. That's how everybody was buying this stuff today. That's another huge run. And this MDB, this was another one here. I mean, what was this on here too? What was this thing working? I mean, they had like ER and the thing didn't bust out that much. Today it was like $22. So, I mean, you've got MDB. I'm not even going to mention Chipotle. That thing's going to be like more than Amazon in a couple of years the way it's trading. MDB, Shop, TTDs, and WDAY. These things all put in like $6 to $10 days. WDAY actually has a little bit more room in it because it hasn't made it to its high. But those first three there, maybe, just maybe. I'll save my 50-50 whether or not I'm ready to short those things. I'll have to see. Like I said, just because they're up doesn't warrant that. But we'll keep it there. Maybe it's not Monday, Tuesday, but at some point that'll come around. Maybe they even offer an opportunity for long. Again, we're just going to have to see. I'm not one that's in the prediction business because most of the stuff I predict doesn't turn out. That's why I trade what I see and try to live with that. So that's pretty good. Now, I want to look at a couple of other ones here that might do something. And that's NVDA. This has been butchered to hell. I mean, no questions. And when you look at the other things, it's like you always have that relative strength, like the shops, the TTDs. When the market's dive bombing, they're still hanging out up there. So they have little tiny pullbacks. And then when the market rips, they just take off, right? This was a complete opposite here. NVIDIA just was going down no matter what the market was doing. This thing has been sold off relentlessly since April, down from 193 area, bottoming out really close to the Christmas Eve lows, which was like 125s or something. So it gets down to 130s and it bounced. Now what you have a little bit different with this chart is you got a little tight piece of consolidation working, like let's say a tiny little flag over here. If you can get a clean break through this, so what you're seeing from this chart is after it's been sold off for a long period of time, it bounced, but it's holding that bounce rather than just turn around and doing like a Baidu and giving it all back. But you got a nice little flag built here. If this thing can clear through 145.5, 146's area, get a strong push through that and hold it, you got a lot of room up here. I mean, this thing could run to 155, 160 up into this space up here on a good week, and it's been beaten down. It's due for that. Again, you have to wait for the setup here, but it's definitely something that looks pretty good coming off the bottom. And you might be able to make the same case for BABA, a stock that I loved to trade at one point. Kind of doing the same thing, just relentless selling here, and it's building up a little bit of a flag too, almost very identical to what you saw in NVDA. NVDA looks a little bit better, but BABA is the same thing. If you can break this range here, it's got a little bit more work to do, 155.50s. It should at least be able to come back up to its 200-day moving average, which is 163. So keep that one on there. I mean, you know, these to me I like a little bit more when it comes to longing, because you have some value. You have a stock that's been beaten down, that can come off the bottom, that can squeeze some shorts, that can put some good money in your pocket and has room to really run. When you're doing stuff like CMG or ZM or beyond, I mean, you're buying stuff that's up a lot, and sometimes that works, but you're really chewing out a big piece of your potential gains with stuff like that, I think, sometimes. So they're up a lot. I mean, there's no question. You cannot turn a blind eye. They've been fantastic. If you've been long, congrats to you. No hate from my side, but boy, oh boy, some of this stuff is just, damn, steep. Somebody else I want to look at here is Okta stuff. Like everything I'm clicking is just like blowing. All my favorites, PAYC, Okta, Team. These things are just nutty. There might be a little bit more space with Twilio. It's ramped up good too, but you got a nice little triple top breaking out here on the daily. But it's also up quite a bit. So here's what I'm saying. I don't know what the hell is going to happen in the market. You know, I never do. I just figure it out every morning what I think is going to happen and go from there. You can't turn your eye to this rally. I mean, this was nuts when nothing had really been done whatsoever. You know, nothing has been accomplished. It's still the same, you know. So there could be, we wake up and there are tariffs on Mexico on Monday and this thing just gets obliterated. That's possible. Dip would probably get bought, but it might have some short-term punishment there. Maybe they delay them. The market's trading like it's already, like they're going to delay them. Well, we're going to find out. If it wants to, I mean, I think it's rare, but again, it's not up to me. If it does hold that level and starts to rip, I don't know how you can't at least get back to all-time highs. I hate to say it, but I don't know. It's possible. It is possible. But I do think that after this big of a point rally in such a short period of time, 4 days, it needs at least a chill day. So maybe we experience some chop. Who knows? But there's a lot of charts that are really extended. They could be good shorts or they could just not be at all. They just might flag. Who knows? We're going to have to find out. That's one thing I guarantee you we will do. We will find out and we will trade accordingly. So I hope I help you out there. I think one of your better ones, if you're looking at some longs and you want to try to catch some value, take a look at BABA, take a look at NVDA, take a look at Twilio. I think those are three there that have some upside potential to them. You have, I'm not so sure, SHOP, TTD, you know, those MDB are necessarily shorts right now. But boy, like I said, you can't ignore how far they've come. And at some point, they'll either level out or chill out for a little while. The money will rotate a little bit out of them. They're not going to keep going on like that every single day of their lives. So we'll find out. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this weekly version. If you have anything you want to run by me at any time, send me an email to support at the link and list. Until next week, trade well.